Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and we have finally made it up to the last Dash Arcana of the Dash Arcana Spotlight series. I know, I'm just as excited about it as you are. So, the last episode, we looked at one that, in my opinion, could easily be one of the best ones in the game, and it definitely qualifies, but remember, the wording we're using is one of. And we've seen a lot of really good Dash Arcana, and a lot of really stinky ones, let's be fair. We've got, Prime Cheddar and Havarti on one end, and nasty, stinky Limburger that's been in the back of the fridge way too long on the other. But now it's time to go just the most prime of cheese. Chaotic Rift. If you don't know why Chaotic Rift is so powerful, I mean, all I can really say is, look at this. You're not dashing so much so as you are just ripping time and space a new asshole and then climbing through it. I mean, it doesn't really get much stronger than that. There we go. So, let's go ahead and set ourselves up a run. I just realized there's a lot of stuff on my phone that I apparently need to look at, but another time. Alright. So, right off the bat, I can tell you right now that things like Limo's Leaf, the breezy gray canvas, and what is it, the boots that give you... So the boots that let you do 3 dashes in a row really fast. I mean, that one still has an effect, but I mean, for the most part, things that affect your Dash Arcana don't really work with this. And, real honestly, you don't need them to. Because this Arcana does basically everything you want. So long as you're okay with it not doing damage, I should clarify, because it doesn't do any damage whatsoever. That is the one downside. Let's see. Well, what do I want to use on this end of things? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what kind of build I want to go for. I know I want to go for something that's kind of like a hybrid between power and critical. So I guess when I put it that way, let's take Blazing Lariat. Let's take something that's going to be good for control, like, I mean, generally when I think control, I think, like, Frost Fan. That's pretty good for control. I think... Bouncing Surge or Twin Turbines, those are pretty good for control. The Defenders are pretty good for that. So is the Bolas. Prickly Ballet is the right choice. And then a nice solid basic, I think. There we go. I think that looks about right. Now, how do we want to do this? Do we want a relic that focuses on power, on critical hit, or on something completely different? I think what we focus on since I want to put as much focus on the dash as possible, I don't want to do like a big old... I don't want to do a big gimmick run or one that's focused on one of the relics. So I think what we do is we take Jade's Chakra Locket. Get the most out of our defenses that we can, and see what sorts of power we can build up during the run itself. Now, those of you who have been with the channel for a while will know that I've said that I don't use Chaotic Rift very often anymore for two reasons. One, to offer myself a more interesting challenge. And on that note, let's just go. Hey, look at that. Don't even have to deal with Atlas. So we do have ourselves, including the... Alright, this is a good start. 125 damage in the very first room. But those of you who have been with the channel for a while will know that I've said in the past that I don't like to use Chaotic Rift all that much. And the reasoning for that is because this one can just become too good. Like, it's very interesting that the very best dash Arcana in the game is one that doesn't even do damage. And the reasoning for that is, well, there's numerous reasons. We'll just kind of go over them. One is the idea that you don't necessarily pass over the space between point A and point B. You're just kind of gone. Which does a great job of helping you avoid enemy attacks and confuse the enemies themselves. Like, they'll be aiming in one direction, then all of a sudden they're going, oh, he's over there now. And then you get the added bonus of making them feel really stupid. Use the... But because it completely passes over the space between point A and point B, it can also do things like, you know, teleport through walls. You know, that little spatial obstruction that hinders your movement. That's more of a suggestion for you when you have Chaotic Rift. We suggest you don't go this way, but fuck it, we can't stop you. And because you essentially have complete invulnerability while you're doing that, like, see, look at that. I don't even have to care about going into all the rooms. Like, I can do this at my leisure. Now, you can't just leave combat rooms, unfortunately. Once the room locks, you've got to deal with that. But I mean, that's a lot easier when you can dodge all attacks with just the simple press of a button. So, I mean, it can go as little as just cutting a few corners, to as much as, I don't feel like dealing with this particular room. Bye! And even though you can't duck... Oh, it's to the north. I feel silly now. Even though you can't completely duck out of combat rooms, it's the idea that you're not occupying the space between point A and point B that's really the big draw. Oh, there is nothing here that I really want. Wow, this was a very dull floor. And of course, the reason why that's such a big deal is of course because, especially in the heat of combat, when you're in the middle of a firefight or any other elemental fight for that matter, you can be sniped out of your dashes so easily. With this one, you don't necessarily have to worry about that as much, so that problem that I keep bringing up of, oh, well, you really shouldn't be trying to dash through the enemies. Using this Arcana is probably what created that habit in the first place. Because it's so free when you have this. And if you need a quick escape, there's no real reason not to. And then that's part of the reason why I chose air spinners, because you can just teleport to the other side of an entire group of mooks, and then you've got an all-around attack to hit them with. 360 degrees of pain, along with a teleport. It just works out too well. Boy, do you want me to have the insulated vest. You really think the twins are that scary to me? Oops. So this, of course, creates scenarios where where a particularly bad situation can be made super simple just because you have a quote-unquote dash Arcana that lets you just teleport away from problems. Because whereas the enemies could potentially catch you and stop you from dashing away from them when you're using other dashes, you just don't have that problem when you're using this one. That was not smart. Then again, I wasn't intending to use that move upwards. It's not unfair to say that Chaotic Rift is completely in a league of its own. Kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog seems to think that he's in a league of his own. Alright, well that's... it's one thing when forward is just one direction, but this isn't Street Fighter 3. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make good use of that. Oh, and for those who want to get really technical about it, because of where the portals start you off at, by all rights, this actually carries you more distance than any other dash as well, so... Which, again, goes a little way to explaining some of the bad habits that I've developed, because I used to use this dash so much before I started going back and playing around with the other dash Arcana, it kind of reinforced some of the bad habits that I use in my gameplay, which, to be fair, I still make them work. But yeah, I still acknowledge that some of my habits are not the best. But if I take some of the better ideas that I've learned into it, okay, I don't exactly know how that worked out. Just a little timing glitch there, I guess. Alright, got anything useful for me? Not really. Yeah, I don't really want any of this. Like, maybe Gale Force alignment, but hardly feels necessary when I have Prickly Ballet, which kind of does the same thing except better. Alright, we're gonna grab that. Now, Boots of Celerity, oddly enough, actually works out better with this, because this is one of those dashes where your movement is always on. So Boots of Celerity will always be active. Because in every other instance, the way it works is that it goes off anytime you use your dash Arcana. Which, of course, means that with other dashes, you have to... If you want the full effect of it, you have to wait for all three of those to come off. Here, you can just dash back and forth a few times, and there's your 15. Now, with some of these Arcana, though, that doesn't make that big a difference. Okay, can't go through that wall. That's a shame. But say you're leading off your fight with something that has slightly higher base damage. And curiously, 5. Yes, it does activate on your basic as well, so if you have a basic that hits particularly hard, then you know, just something to keep in mind. There, I got to display a little bit of hubris because I thought those guys would already be dead, and I was wrong. Anyway, is it fair to say that a ghoul is dead when you knock it down, or is it just fair to say that it stopped moving? Heyo, Magician's outfit. Okay. Yeah, I probably would have only gotten to about 15 with the adorable mimic, so the Magician's outfit was definitely the smarter idea. Hang on to it. If nothing else, it's a nice 5% bonus critical hit chance with my air spinners. But by now, I'm sure you're seeing the benefit is that you can approach rooms you can approach dangerous rooms from odd angles by just being able to ignore walls. And it looks like I was just showing off my ability to go through walls there, but really think about it. How much more dangerous would that room have been had I had to confront it from the front door, essentially? By being able to start from this corner instead of here, I got to essentially flank every enemy in that room. Obviously, that dodge would have been near impossible without the ability to simply ignore the space between point A and point B. So even though some of the differences that this makes seem like they would be relatively minor, in reality, just the ability to ignore space, go through walls, like, it all adds up quite a bit. Like I said, it's really no contest that this is the best Dash Arcana in the game. Yes, thank you, Chess Knight. You are the best. Alright, well, we can just go ahead and get rid of this now to pick up the Crimson Clover. And that's a beautiful 15% bonus on my signature. Now, if my information on the Boots of Celerity is incorrect, and you can get the 15% just by dashing without having your other Arcana up and ready to go, like, you know, say you don't have to worry about whether or not your other Arcanas are on, your other Dash Arcanas go on cooldown, by all means let me know, because that is information I would like to correct. Yay, I'm smart. It's Mock Stunner. I probably won't need that. Water Tendrils, neat, but I mean, do we really need an ultra close range attack like that? Lose gold every time I'm hit. Okay. I can go away for that. Why was I thinking there was something there that needed to be attacked? I didn't want to pick it up. Nice Z targeting there, buddy. Okay, that was completely overkill. But now ask me if I care. I'm sure you know the answer to that question. And there I got to demonstrate that little strength again. Just being able to approach a room from a different angle can make such a huge difference. Okay, she is just not going to upgrade Seismic Entry, is she? Not that I need her to, it would just be nice for it to be upgraded all the time by default instead of having to take a 30% chance on whether or not it'll be upgraded or not. Also, this starts up and cools down so quickly. Like, I'm pretty sure I've already made my point, but I just want you guys to really understand just how powerfully designed this is. And the one downside is that you can't use it to attack whatsoever. But doesn't matter when you can take rooms from unusual angles and subvert ambushes entirely. Doesn't matter when you can teleport from point A to point B and just circumvent all the space in between. Oh, there we go. Ooh, robe upgrade. I love it. Alright, back to the beginning. I haven't convinced you yet that Chaotic Echoes is the strongest dash in the game, I mean, I just don't know what to tell you. You clearly have an incredible ability to deny facts. Now, if you were to say, I don't know, I'm not sure I like using Chaotic Echoes, that I can completely understand, because this does kind of invalidate some of the game's challenge. Like, even pits, which I think is probably the worst designed part of the game, are meaningless because they're not forcing essentially a Dash Arcana recharge check on your movement. And even though I think I've already mentioned this, but I'm gonna mention it again, no cooldowns when you're using this, it's always up. There are only 2 Dash Arcana in the game that have anything even relatively close. Thanks, game. That was perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. Yeah, just like this. I'm good. Now, this Arcana is a Chaos Arcana, which means it can only be gotten by beating the game at least once. And considering how many Chaos Arcana are in the game currently, because I'm not discounting the idea that C99 could come back to this project and add some more stuff to it, however unlikely that seems, but there's always the possibility that they could add more Chaos Arcana to the game, or just add Arcana of any other element, because they've done that once already. I mean, just as a prime example, Twin Turbines was not always in the game. Just a little something to keep in mind. That's only one example. There's lots of Arcana that are in the game now that didn't use it. And when it comes to combat, I mentioned before, because of how the portals work and the idea that you have that like little slide as you're coming out of the portal, this Arcana actually gets just a little bit more distance than other Dash Arcana, and that little bit of extra distance actually does make quite a bit of difference in the long run. And there we go. And if you ask me, that was a wonderful showcase of Chaotic Rift. Like, honestly, I don't know what more you could ask for. I mean, unless you want your Chaotic Rift to spit fireballs out of the portals too, in which case, what sort of a Toho character are you becoming? You're a masochist. But it is sort of nice to see that evil thought process coming out now, isn't it? But that is all for this episode, and with that, the Dash Arcana Spotlight series is over. I hope you guys have enjoyed my analysis, and unlike with, I want to call it Rock Bullets, Magnetic Follow-Up. Unlike Magnetic Follow-Up, I will be doing a tier list for this one. Because putting all 23 of the Dash Arcana that we played around with into a ranking system sounds like fun to me, and hopefully it sounds like fun to you too. I think we'll all get a kick out of it, as well as getting to hear from each other's opinions and getting to have a grand old discussion about all of it. It's honestly sounds like a fantastic time to me. So I will say thank you guys very much for watching. I very much appreciate your continued support and coming to spend your free time with me. I hope you have a fantastic day or night wherever you may happen to be, and I will see you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and take care, everybody.